After a conversation with Russia's President Vladimir Putin, President Trump has raised the thought about ending mail-in voting ballots. Tyrone Bowman live. Welcome to the program, everybody. Let's talk about this here. According to Axios, President Trump on Monday pledged to end mail-in voting, calling it a fraud, and said he would sign an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2020 midterm elections. So why does this matter? While Trump shifted his tune before the 2024 election to promote absentee voting, Trump has railed against mail-in voting, and he's back to singing that song. In harmony with him, Trump recently claimed on Fox News that is Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president didn't mention Putin in his Monday Truth Social post, but following the leaders at Alaska summit on Friday, Trump relayed to Fox Sean Hannity that Putin told him, quote, "Your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting," end quote. What is going on here? Since when does a Russian president have an input concerning mail-in ballots in American elections? And why does his opinion even matter if Putin really said this to him? Because there's no verification that this statement is true. So this might not even be an authentic quote, allegedly coming from the Russian president. And it also raises a question about the military, the men and women who serve overseas. The only way that they can vote in an election is through mail-in voting. We have many seniors who cannot physically get to the voting polls. A lot of individuals, they're working all day, so they vote online. So the question is, what's going on here? Let's get back to the article from Axios. President Trump in a Monday Truth Social post also said he'd also target highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines. Trump has argued mail-in voting was a source of cheating in the 2020 election, despite there being no evidence of widespread fraud. Isn't it ironic? The 2026 midterm elections are upon us, and now we're talking about mail-in voting being a fraud, being a scam. Well, didn't a lot of people vote for him in this past election through mail-in voting as well? So that is true. So, this reminds me of a lot of things that I've been studying. Hitler did the same thing. Stalin did the same thing. Mussolini did the same thing. Mao Tse-tung. Of course, over in North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he's the dear leader, the dear dictator for life. They even have the so-called tears. They have fake tears coming from people standing in line for hours and hours and hours, pretending that they love their dear leader so much that the very sight of him makes them cry. Wake up, everybody, and pay attention to what's happening and what's going on. Trump also inaccurately claimed that the U.S. is the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. Many countries offer some form of postal voting. Asked about his post during an Oval Office meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, a question the president acknowledged was off topic. Trump said, quote, "We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt, end quote. First of all, I don't think that the president has the authority to stop mail-in voting through an executive order, because the Supreme Court will have to weigh in on this matter as well. Then you got the MAGA cheating Republicans down in Texas trying to rig the 2026 elections through the redistricting process. Trump also said he'd start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots. In addition to domestic mail-in voting, millions of Americans who live overseas are eligible to vote absentee, such as military members and their families. Exactly my point that I made a couple minutes ago. So how are they supposed to vote in the upcoming midterm elections and even the general elections as a whole? This is why it's so important for individuals to educate your own mind, to do your own research, do your own study, thoroughly, exhaustively. It's vitally important that we know exactly what's going on. Don't allow the smoke screens and the winds of baffling so-called corruption to stop you from having an independent mind that thinks independently from any of the right-wing networks telling you how to think, walk, talk. Think for yourself objectively. Research for yourself objectively. Do your own homework objectively. Make it a point that you are going to do your own research and your own homework. I don't let anyone do my thinking for me. Trump claimed the states are merely an agent for the federal government in tabulating votes and must do what the president tells them. Really? Well, every state is independent of the federal government. That's why they have state constitutions and you have the United States Constitution. A lot of people don't know that. There are state laws and state constitutional laws that govern everything. But the Constitution says the times, places, and manners of holding elections for Congress, quote, shall be prescribed in each state by the legislative thereof, subject to Congress adopting or altering state requirements, except as to the place of choosing senators per Cornell Law School's Legal Information Institute. This is going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be an uphill battle. This is not going to end through an executive order. It's not going to happen. Provisions of Trump's March executive order making sweeping changes to federal elections including a proof of citizenship requirement, have been blocked in court. Well, that means that the Republicans should have to show proof of their citizenship as well when they go to the polls. It's not just going to be for black and brown people. We're not just going to have one set of laws that's going to benefit them, and the rest of us have to bow down and do whatever they say. You know? Here's a quote directly from President Trump, quote, elections can never be honest with mail-in ballots / voting, end quote, Trump wrote. Vote.gov, however, says that states have security measures in place to ensure all return ballots are official and filled out by the proper eligible voter. You know, in this past election, do you know how many fraudulent Republicans were exposed for voting illegally? Oh, but they don't want to talk about that. Because anybody that's not a Republican or MAGA, they can't be trusted. But the only people that can be trusted are MAGAites and Republicans. Everybody else is bad. You need to read George Orwell's book, Animal Farm. Read it. I listened to it in its entirety on last night to refresh my memory. Check out Animal Farm, read the book for yourself, or listen to the audio version of it. And what's going on today was predicted and prophetically spoken a long time ago. Can I surmise something and tell you? There is corruption on both sides, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They both will lie, cheat, and steal. Quote, the end justifies the means, end quote. So it's on all sides. So, in case you're just tuning in, you can catch up quickly. In his sit down with Hannity, which I don't like Sean Hannity, a liar, a compromising journalist over there on the racist and bigoted network. They don't even have the mitigated gall to have a token black person on at night on Fox. So they are admittedly showing you that they're a bunch of racists. So during his sit down with Sean Hannity, Trump said that Putin told him that, quote, it's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections, end quote. He further claimed that the Russian president told him he won the election of 2020 by so much, which Trump has continued to claim years after his loss to Biden and the January 6, 2020 attack that followed. In Russia, they only run one presidential candidate. That's it. There are no open and free elections in Russia. America is a republic/democracy. They originally were known as the Federalist Society. America gained its independence from England through a vicious, bloody, revolutionary war for the purpose of freedom of speech, for the purpose of religious freedom, running away from a tyrannical king. And now what is America becoming? Trump continued to say, while Putin's alleged comments are being passed on via a game of Trump telephone, he has in the past claimed U.S. elections were falsified through mail-in voting without any scintilla of evidence or substantiated proof. See, that's the reason why, if I was a politician, I would win. And I'll tell you the reason why. One, because I ain't taking no crap off of my opponent. From day one, I'm going for the jugular. You talk about me, I'll talk about everything that pertains to you and turn your life upside down and scrutinize everything about you. White House spokesperson Harrison Fields said in a statement provided to Axios that Trump wants to secure America's elections and protect the vote, restoring the integrity of our elections by requiring voter ID, ensuring no illegal ballots are cast, and preventing cheating through lax and incompetent voting laws in states like California and New York. Oh, isn't that something? Signaling out California. Signaling out New York. What about Florida? Florida has been known to be one of the most corruptible states when it comes to free and open elections. They never have fair elections in Florida. You can go back to the time when former Vice President Al Gore lost in Florida over the Chad crap way back then. This is real. I can't read all the comments coming in because they're coming in so fast. And that's why individuals don't like people like me sometimes. Because I have to see it from all points of view. It can't just be one-sided. Do you know 2.5 million black people voted for Trump? in this past election, and majority of them were black, bitter, hateful men. That's why they did it. Under the guise they thought they were going to get a $5,000 check. What gullible folk. They thought they were going to get a $5,000 stimulus check. Lies, lies, lies. Think about it. I would like to really know what you're thinking about in the comment section about this. Tyrone Bowman Live. I can't make this stuff up. I don't make it up. I do the research, come before the camera, and do my best with integrity to present it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got to get ready for the next video. He said he's still waiting on the $5,000 stimulus check. Bruh, that check is not coming. You can stop waiting. Nada. Not going to happen. You're not getting a $5,000 stimulus check. Let me see. I already know why you voted for Trump, Aaron. You don't matter to me. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your wonderful comments, pro and con, and in between. I told you before, I don't censor people here on this channel. I don't care if you love me, hate me, loathe me, like me. It doesn't matter with me. I'm not going to censor you. You can say whatever you want. I'm like these skin thinned people in MAGA country. They want to censor everybody because they can't take it. When somebody has an opposing point of view, when somebody won't bow down and agree with everything that they say. I got friends and associates from all walks of life, Democrats and Republicans, independents and socialists, and in between. We sit down and have conversations. I listen to each and every one of them. All right, till next time. Thank you for watching. Never surrender. Never quit.